Hey everybody, in YouTube land. This is kind of an update video that I decided to make this afternoon. Kind of document the progress I'm making on my 1997 Ford Probe GT 2.5 V6, or rather the lack of progress. It's also a video looking for any assistance out there. I know there's a lot of Ford Probe aficionados and buffs out there, so kind of hoping to implore some of you for some assistance. So anyway, here's kind of a little brief overview as to what's going on here. The car got to the point where it wasn't running too hot, and I knew that the EGR valve on the car was bad because the vacuum diaphragm on it wasn't working. So I had another EGR valve with the vehicle when I got it, and I decided to have that put in. I took it to a shop. So here's a little, see, I think I still got the EGR valve here in the car. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So here's our original EGR valve. This was on the vehicle when I acquired it. And the vacuum portion diaphragm does not work. So what I did was when I got the car, I had another EGR valve, and it was slightly different from this one in that this riser and plug assembly right here is different, doesn't protrude outwards like this. And also you can see this one, the plug, it looks like it just kind of, I don't know, bolts on here, screws on here. Whereas the EGR valve that I had actually has a plug that, plugs on. In any event, so the diaphragm on this is not functional, and I had a good EGR valve, or at least an EGR valve that I knew that the vacuum portion worked. I'm assuming the electrical components was also functional. But in any event, so I had an EGR valve to put into it. I went to the auto parts store to look one up, found out that they're quite expensive new, between $200 and $300, and I couldn't find any at a local salvage yard. So I wanted to use the EGR valve that I had with me. So I took it to a shop, and I actually had to go online because I found a problem. When I looked the EGR valve up on the computer, the diagram shows that there's a jumper wiring harness. And I should have brought my laptop to kind of show. It's just a wire with a plug that would be here, and then a length of wire, and then another plug. So it would plug into the EGR valve and then plug into the wiring for the factory wire harness for the car. That's because the plug on the car would not plug into the EGR valve directly. And apparently when you purchase a new EGR valve, you get that jumper wiring harness that goes to the factory wiring of the car and then plugs into the EGR valve, which of course I did not have that. So I found a place up in Washington that manufactured them, and I ordered one specifically for the EGR valve that I put in. So I took it to a shop because the exhaust needed to be moved out of the way, and I didn't have the right tools or time to mess with that. So I took it in, paid $85 to have a shop replace the EGR valve, put that new wiring on, which they did. And for a while the car ran better. It does not run properly yet, and that's kind of what we're doing. I drove the car 2 days, yesterday and today, to work, and so anyway, yesterday I drove it all the way to work. It still stutters, it still misses, and it's not running properly. It's using more fuel than it ought to. But I successfully drove it to work yesterday and back. No check engine light. Went to work this morning. Drove it all the way there, 15, 17 miles. No check engine light. And then on the way back home, after getting paid, the check engine light come on about 5 miles out. And then about another 5 miles out, so 10 miles total into my drive home, the check engine light started to flash. So I got a little scan tool here, and we're gonna read the codes. I've already done this. As soon as I got home, I I scanned this, but we're going to do it again just so we got it on camera. So we got our little scan tool here, and we're going to tell it to read, so it's scanning. I don't know if this scan tool is going to, or the camera's going to pick this up very well, but okay, so it's reading. KWP 2000. Probably not going to pick this up. Maybe I'll move it into the shadow a little bit better. Oh, I might want to turn the key on. Oh, it's been one of those days. Okay, key's on now. You have to pardon me, I've had a rough day today. So it should be scanning. Okay, scan. Reading. Okay, so it's reading. Okay, so 3 faults. 2 faults and a pending. Okay, so our codes are, and it's not going to show up very well, but that's a PO303. That's code 1 of 3, PO303, and I know that by looking in the book that that's a cylinder 3 misfire. And I thought I had that squared away, and it was a loose spark plug. 1195, P1195, that's second code of 3, and P1195 is what I'm having an issue with. This has come up twice or 3 times before. I've done a little bit of research on the internet, and I've called every part store around, and I'm getting conflicting opinions. It's some say mass airflow, some say map sensor, some say EGR, and some say barometric pressure. I'm getting, you know, 5 different viewpoints from 5 different people, and nobody knows shit. And this is the new code. Never got this one before. PO404. PO404. And I called AutoZone, and they said that has to do with the EGR valve. So the codes again: PO303. That's like a cylinder 3 misfire. P1195, I haven't a flipping clue. And then PO404. So I'm going to assume the PO404, according to the book, it said the EGR valve like functioning or range, which tells me that there's an issue with the EGR valve. And then the P1195, I've been told, is something to do with the sensor switch associated with the EGR valve. So I guess the only thing I could come up with is I still have a bad EGR valve. I don't know. So basically, I'm asking anybody out there that's got experience with these 97 or any of these Ford probes, like the 97 Ford Probe GT, such as this car, and you know what a PO404 EGR valve means, and really if you know what the heck a P1195 code means, because like I said, I've been told map sensor, I've been told mass airflow sensor, I've been told barometric pressure, and I've been told 2 different components associated with the EGR valve. So I need some help. This has got to be my daily driver soon, because the Jetta has to go back to the owner as soon as possible. And I want to continue to drive the Probe because I love the way it rides, but it's using too much gas. It's not running properly. It's just not on its best behavior. So, already replaced the EGR valve with a used unit that I had on hand when I got the car. I had paid $20 plus shipping for a plug to make it work, but I still seem to have some kind of EGR valve issue. So anybody out there that can lend me a hand, give me some ideas to what I'm dealing with. I could really use some assistance on this. Thanks for watching, and to any followers of mine, people who have subscribed to my channel, thank you for watching, and I apologize for the delay in producing any additional videos. I've been dealing with possible job loss in the near future, so I've been kind of preoccupied. But we'll get back on track and get some more videos made and uploaded. Any comments of assistance on this would greatly be appreciated. Thank you.